I tried beating a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet using only dinosaur Pokemon because, you know, I kind of like dinosaurs. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Dino, and here are the rules for this challenge. We're going back to basics for this one. This is not a hardcore Nuzlocke because I'm very bad at those, so the rules are simple. I can only catch one Pokemon per area. If a Pokemon faints, it dies, and I must nickname all of my Pokemon to grow more attached. Here are all the Pokemon that I'm allowed to catch. The rule states that they must resemble a dinosaur in some way, be dinosaur-like in shape, or have their designs somewhat inspired by a dinosaur. Important note, not every Pokemon in the evolutionary line needs to resemble a dinosaur. I'm also allowing myself to catch duplicates if I want to, simply because not every area in this challenge has a Pokemon that I can even catch, and some of the Pokemon that I'm allowed to catch overlap in spawn areas, and something tells me I'm gonna need all the help I can get. And of course, if I run into a shiny, I'm allowed to catch it, but I can only use it if it meets the requirements above. Without further ado, here's the story of my dinosaur-only Nuzlocke. I start the run off by waking up and being very confused about my hair not being curly, run downstairs, awkwardly walk downstairs at a 45-degree angle, and I greet my mom. The director of the academy I've been enrolled in, Mr. Clavel, is for some reason in our house, and I'm unfortunately sensing some tension between the two of them, so I run outside. I go all the way down the road and meet this girl named Nimona, who is accompanied by the 3 starter Pokemon of this region. I of course pick Fuecoco, the most dinosaur-like of these bad boys, because I forgot to mention there's a strict no birds rule for this run. This is because 1, I feel like it would be too easy, and 2, I plan on doing a bird-only Nuzlocke soon. I named him Rigatoni Senior Jr. because this is not my first time attempting this run. I've attempted this run twice before over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/8bitdino. The first attempt, we named our Fuecoco Rigatoni, and attempt number 2, we named him Rigatoni Jr. And I've named this Rigatoni Senior Jr. because he is the junior of Rigatoni Senior. Rigatoni Senior being the senior to Rigatoni Jr., aka Rigatoni 2. And Rigatoni Senior Jr.'s senior is the OG Rigatoni Senior, and is not the junior of Rigatoni Jr., the junior of Rigatoni Senior number 1. You know, I didn't want to complicate things. Nimona loves to battle, and I love Nimona. So we battle her and win, because we believe in Rigatoni supremacy. Senior, Junior. Nimona meets our mother, which is definitely speedrunning the relationship, but mother approves and gives us a sandwich for our picnic date up at the lighthouse. On the way up, however, I get a little sidetracked and casually go tumbling off a cliff. Somehow I survive, and I meet the second and arguably the most important dinosaur of this run, Koraidon. Turns out Koraidon is owned by this edgy kid named Arvin who has serious mommy issues, and then battles us because of it. Little Rigatoni Senior Jr., though, absolutely decimates his Squovit, and at last, we're free to explore the Paldea region. We run and we run all over South Province Area 1 until finally we find a level 6 Choodle. I catch him and name him Crackle. I don't know why, there's no method to my madness, it's just madness. There's not a lot of routes available to us right now because we cannot yet ride Koraidon. So I head up to the school, have a date fight with Nimona, beat up these Team Star kids, and unlock the 3 main storylines of this game. Victory Road, the classic beat all 8 gyms, Elite Four and Champion. Path of Legends, where we venture all over the Paldea region, defeating Titan Pokemon and collecting mysterious herbs called Herba Mystica to heal Arvin's sick dog. And Starfall Street, where we take down the not-so-evil Team Star, a group of kids that were bullied out of school and then banded together and became the bullies for some reason. I don't know, I forgot to pay attention. Also, we meet Professor Seda, and I cannot decide if I want to be her or be with her. Confusing emotions aside, we can now ride Koraidon, and oh my god, there are no available dinosaur Pokemon yet. Great. That's fine though, because the first task on our to-do list is to take on the Cortando Gym, home of Katie, the very handsome bug-type specialist. The level cap is 15, so I train Rigatoni up a bit, and since Bug is weak to fire, I pretty much burn through her whole team. Haha. Now's a good time to mention, while I'm going to be trying to follow the level cap, it is more of a suggestion than a rule. Although the Cortando Gym was easy, I am, however, very worried about the next trial ahead of us, the Titan Cloth. Cloth is a rock type, which my strongest Pokemon is weak to, but water is strong against rock, so in South Province Area 2, I catch a second Choodle I named Real. After training up the team a bit, we got a bit overleveled, but I simply don't care. We take on the Titan Cloth. One water gun takes it down to about half health, activating its Anger Shell ability, which does scare me a bit, but we live the next hit and outspeed, managing to take out the first wave of the Cloth. We heal up, and with a lot more confidence, we take on the second stage, this time with the help of Arvin. He calls the Cloth a half shell in reference to his 2-shelled shelter, which feels a little like a slur, but I move past that and water gun the thing to death. Good job, Pablo Crackle. We harvest some herbs, and as I leave the cave, Arvin's mom calls me. Well, Professor Seda. Oh my god, hi, you have my number. That's like so funny. Are you free next weekend? Or next up on our list is the Artisan Grass type gym. We once again have the type advantage, and since we're a bit overleveled, I decide to head straight over there from the Titan. We round up these Sunflora, which make me really happy. I don't care how laggy they are, look at them go. And we are able to face Brassius, which why did they give him a whip? Anyways, we once again blaze through the first 2 of his Pokemon, but his coveted Trudobudo poses a bit more of a threat. It terastallizes into Grass type, which is ideal, but it does have Sturdy, meaning it will live on 1 HP no matter how much damage we do. It almost always goes for Trailblaze, however, which we resist, meaning I lied and Trudobudo was not a threat at all. We leave the gym, say hi to Brassy as his boyfriend, and head to East Province Area 1 to catch a Cyclizar I named Melly. Melly here will be imperative to us winning the next fight against the next Titan, as she can learn Thunderfang. I mean, so can Rigatoni, but the next Titan is Titan Bombardier, a flying type Pokemon that knows a super effective rock type move, and I cannot put my baby boy's life on the line like that. Melly, however, isn't weak to any of the Titan's moves, and Thunderfang will deal super effective damage, so overall, I'm not too worried. We roll up, skillfully dodge all the boulders this malevolent bird is hurling at us, and at the top of the hill, we begin the battle. We start off strong, dealing a good bit of damage to the bird, and we eat up a rock throw like it's nothing. On the next turn, however, Pluck brings us down to a less than chill 9 HP, and while we are able to outspeed and take it out with another Thunderfang, this is the one Titan fight that you can't heal in between phases, so we start the second wave just on 9 HP. But as I said, we're going back to basics with the rules here. Anything goes. So we heal up and terastallize, because why not? I make the rules. A couple more Thunderfangs take out the Bombardier, and we earn ourselves a Titan badge, and a good bite to eat. I of course gave my sandwich to Koraidon though, because he's a good dinosaur, and is imperative to this run's success. We've had a pretty good run so far, no deaths, and we've only overleveled a bit, but the Dark Crew is up next, which definitely worries me. My strategy when it comes to Pokemon battling is just focus on type matchups and hope I outspeed and OHKO my opponents. I know, amateur, but shush, I'm having fun. Dark types are weak to Bug, Fairy, and Fighting type moves, and currently no one on our team can learn moves like that. So we're off to hunt down our next team member, Breloom. For whatever reason, I have absolutely abysmal luck when it comes to finding wild Shroomish in this game. I don't know what it is, but luckily we managed to find one relatively quickly in South Province Area 5. I catch and name her Meepo. I evolve her into a Breloom because we seriously need that fighting type, and don't worry, while I am once again a tad overleveled, I get a lot better at not doing that throughout the run. We rock up to the Dark Crew hideout and almost immediately lose Meepo to the grunt guarding the door. That was scary. Time to take a detour to the desert where Cerebi says I can find a Larvitar because I am scared. There were no Larvitar in sight, however, so back to the Dark Crew we go. We take out 30 of the grunt's Pokemon with little to no issue before finally coming face to face with the Dark Crew leader, Giacomo, or Giacomo. DJ Vice? I don't know. He sends out his Pawniard and I send out Meepo, who takes it out in a single hit. Yeah, go Meepo! Next out is his room. I struggle to say that one. The Starmobile thing. I don't know. And it's pretty powerful, so I terastallize because fear. 2 low kicks are not enough to take it out, which takes us down to 1 HP. Meepo, you mad lad. Oh my god. That was without friendship or a choice band, by the way. That was just Meepo. I love her. We then get a call from Cassiopeia, the mastermind behind Operation Starfall. Every time we take out one of the crews, she'll usually give us a call and send out Penny to give us some supplies. And I guess that's that. We took down the Dark Crew with relative ease, lots of fear, but overall, not too bad. Hehe, Meepo has the zoomies. She is 1000% my favorite. I pick favorites. I have favorites, and Meepo is my favorite. Crackle and Reel evolved into Dreadnoughts. I caught another Cyclizar, and then as I'm about to challenge Iono, Levincia's gym leader, Nimona shows up looking for a fight. It goes well. Nothing of note really happened. We just swept the floor with her, and she twirls her hair like she's in love with us. Oh my god. Maybe moving a bit fast, but hey, that's the way of the lesbian. And now it's time to actually take on the 3rd gym. Iono's pretty chill. We did a quick collab. You know, us both being content creators and all. It's no big deal. She says to like and subscribe, by the way. Her words, not mine, so, you know, you kind of have to. We battle a few of her fans for content, and then it's time for the big man herself, Iono. Her Watro goes down to a single Rock Tomb, and while her Belly Bolt poses a bit more of a problem, it eventually falls to a few Terra-boosted Incinerates. Her Luxio is up next, and sadly takes out Reel the Dreadnought, but not before he got it down to half health. Seb the Cyclizar comes out and crits the Luxio down, and finally, Hermes Magius is up. I keep Seb in, fully ready to sacrifice her because I am playing favorites, Melly being my favorite of the 2, but Seb put up a really good fight, so instead of keeping her in, I decided to switch into Melly, who finishes the job with ease. But we cannot ignore Reel the Dreadnought, the first death of the run. You did good, you weren't on the team for long, but we appreciate you. I do love a good Dreadnought. Rest in pixels. The Team Star Firebase is up next on the list, so I train up Crackle for some super effective rock-type moves. And the universe was on my side for this fight, as the sky decided to rain, which weakens Mella's fire-type moves. Mella sends out her Torkoal, which tries to set up Sunny Day, but fails because of the rain, and quickly goes down to a couple of Rock Tombs. Her Starmobile is a bit scarier due to its moveset and its ability to constantly be boosting its stats, but not even a critical hit Swift can knock us down, and we end up taking it out with a couple more Rock Tombs. And you know what else? The second we beat her, the rain stopped, which is honestly just rude, but appreciated. I'm still kind of sore about not having a team of 6, so I head over to East Province Area 2 where I find a Roly-Coly. Now, I'm still not entirely convinced this Pokemon counts as a dinosaur, but Twitch chat was dead set on Godzilla being a dinosaur, and since Colossal's design is partially inspired by Godzilla, then by the rules that I set in place, it does technically count as a dinosaur. Also, I had no idea that Larvitar spawned on this route, and I didn't find one until way later. Believe me, I wanted to catch it, I did, but I caught the Roly-Coly. and I named him Brufus, and I'll do my best to use him as little as possible throughout the run. Brufus evolved on our way to fight the Titan Earthworm, which Meepo one-shot with low kick. I didn't even bother healing between rounds. I just went straight into phase 2, and Meepo took it down with a well-timed crit. Next up is the Cascade Alpha Gym, home of the water-type leader, Kofu, aka my dad. However, I still felt a bit miffed about having missed out on my Larvitar encounter, so I first went to the Asado Desert to see if I could get an encounter there. But once again, even though Cerebi says Larvitar can spawn here, I didn't see one. In fact, I've never seen one here. So I gave up and headed to my father's gym. The Larvitar line evades me again. I did, however, find a new dinosaur friend to add to the team, a Gibble. I personally think the Garchomp line is a bit overrated, but I gotta say, this line has grown on me a lot recently. So I was pretty happy to see this little ass. I caught her, named her Soraya, and added her to the team immediately, because while I am allowing myself to catch duplicates, as long as I can have 6 unique Pokemon on my team, I'm gonna do that. I immediately evolved her into a Gabite, which will be of no use in the next gym, but hey, she's here. Speaking of, I finally go to visit my father, and he runs out the door, drops his wallet on the ground, and books it down the street. Excuse me, could you return Kofu's wallet to him? This can count as your gym test. Yeah, sure. Why not? But not before I pitch a few pennies. Hehehe. I find Kofu, return the wallet to him, and finally, I can challenge the gym leader. Oh, hi. Hey, you're that kid that's like way good at battling, huh? I'm not that good. I mean, I don't know. My name's Rika. And hey, I know I'm pretty, but there's no need to get intimidated or anything. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not nervous or intimidated. Hey, listen, kiddo. You look fun. Like, interesting. At a glance, anyways. I'll see you around. Why are there so many beautiful women in this region? I am overwhelmed. Hey, time to fight my dad. Okay. He sends out his Bolton Veluza, and since it's a psychic type, I terrestrialize Meepo right off the bat to get rid of her fighting typing. It goes for Pluck, which takes us down quite a bit, but Mega Drain basically carries us through this run, helping us take out Veluza, Wugtrio, and eventually his Crabominable, healing us up along the way. And hey, look at that. We were only a level over. I'm getting better at this. Dad's a good sport and congratulates me on the win, and I'm on the road again. Now in search of the Poison Team Star crew. Poison types are weak to ground, so I bring Soraya up to scratch with the rest of my team, because, you know, she's a ground type. And I waltz into Tag Tree Thicket looking for another member to add to my boxes. This little apple evolves into Flapple. As I showed in the intro, it's basically a pterosaur, and I rammed my Koraidon's head into countless trees looking for this little apple freak. But after a while, she was kind of starting to run sideways, and for her own health, I decided to embark on a quest. A quest to make a sandwich. What sandwich, you may ask? Why, the great avocado sandwich that boosts the encounter rate of dragon-type Pokemon by 2 stages. For this sandwich, we need avocados, of course, a smoked filet, tomatoes, and salt. I made my sandwich and instantly found and evolved an Applin into a Flapple. Also, his name is Apollo. And then I immediately boxed him because he is of no use to us yet. I made my way back to Tag Tree Thicket, and oh, that is a full-odds shiny Voltorb. What are the chances? Well, I mean, I know the chances. It's 1 out of 4,096, but still, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I found a random full odds shiny while attempting a dinosaur-only Nuzlocke of Pokemon Scarlet, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. I caught it first try, unlike a certain Poketubing friend of mine, and I was able to save and move on. Their name is Bluey, by the way. I would put them on the team, but they're not a dinosaur, so into the boxes they go. I beat up the literal child guarding the poison base, and with that act of violence out of the way, I am allowed inside to challenge the team star leader, Atticus, who I always confuse with Brassius. His Skuntank comes out and immediately confuses me, which we manage to hit through, for the most part, and we take down the Skuntank and room with relative ease. Then his Muck comes out. I bulldozed it and lowered its speed in the process, but it brought Soraya down to 3 HP, so I switched into Crackle. Crackle can take hits like a champ and deal them out too. For some reason, I didn't bother healing Soraya up and then switching her back in. Instead, I just slowly chipped away at the remaining Starmobile until it finally went down, but you know what? We won, so let's move on. The next gym is in Medali, home of fan favorite Larry, so I set out to train up Meepo, who can deal super effective hits against his normal types. But while training her up, my Carkle decided it wanted to be shiny? What kind of glitch is this? Why are you blue? In West Province Area 3, I caught a second Shroomish I named Aishla, a Tropius on Casseroya Lake named Mango, and I caught Chris, my second Gabite in West Province Area 2. They're all going to the boxes for now though, as it's time to guess the secret menu item so that I can challenge Larry. And I actually remembered it correctly on my first try, which was cool. We Oko Larry's Kamala, but his Dunsparce causes a bit of an issue since it paralyzes us and gets us down to half health. By using a full restore though, I'm able to cure the paralysis and guarantee we live another hit, putting our speed back up to normal, and we take out the Dunsparce. That is so hard to say. And we take out the Dunsparce. Oh my god. And we take out the Dunsparce. Oh my god! I also wanted to mention, I am within the level cap for this fight. I am improving. His last Pokemon is Staraptor, excellent choice, which has quad effective flying type moves, so I switch into Crackle, whose attack gets lowered because of Intimidate. I bring Brufus out because he resists a lot of Staraptor's hits, but he does like no damage, and now he's at 3 HP. Oh my god. Time to bring in Soraya, I guess. Never mind, that was way too much entrance damage. Holy Bidoof. If I switch someone in here and they don't outspeed the Staraptor, they will die, so this is a tough decision. decision, but Melly here is not only fast, but she's also holding the focus band, which gives her a chance to live a hit that would otherwise kill. So I switch her in, and the Staraptor's Facade brings her down to 30% of her health. If she doesn't outspeed, there is a very good chance that she dies. I go for a stab Dragon Claw, and we outspeed and managed to take out the big beautiful bird. What a W for Melly. This fight also caused Rufus to evolve into his ambiguously dinosaur-faced self, just in time to battle Nemona in front of the top Paldea champion Gita. I was a little nervous for this fight because I have a tendency to underestimate Nemona, but the fight went well. I also realized something though. Nemona's Sprigatito had fully evolved into a Meowscarada, and for some reason, despite being over the level to evolve, Rigatoni Sr. Jr. was still just a Crocolore. But you know what? That's okay. My boy is allowed to take his time. He's a late bloomer. He doesn't need to be fully evolved, and I know that he is more than capable of taking down her Meowscarada in a single hit. And you know what? I was right. And then, in very poetic fashion, this victory leveled up Rigatoni once more and allowed him to reach his final form. You made it, buddy. None of my past Rigatonis have ever made it this far, and I'm taking him all the way to the end. If no one else survives this run, Rigatoni Sr. Jr. will. The Monte Nevada gym is up next on our itinerary. The Monte Nevada gym leader, despite being objectively the coolest gym leader, specializes in ghost types. Ghost is weak to dark types and other ghost types, and I have a little trick up my sleeve to deal with this. It's not like the most big brain play in the world, but you'll see. First though, we have another team member to catch. The Baxcalibur line isn't my favorite line of pseudos, but Arctibax has quickly become one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, because look at how perfect and dinosaur-shaped she is. Oh my god. And there's a small cave within the Glaciado Mountain that has a guaranteed Frigibax encounter. It also has a Larvitar. Well, I'm here for this pseudo, so the Larvitar evades my capture yet again. I very tenderly knock the little guy down into the red, and I capture her in the very first ball I threw. It was meant to be. I named her Beho and brought her to the team in place of Soraya. I also killed the Larvitar. Time for the gym test. The gym test here is more akin to the older games. You just fight other trainers that specialize in the same types as the gym leader. But the unique thing about Monte Nevada is that all the battles are double battles. And as I do with most things, I jumped in without thinking, and it somehow paid off. The battles up to Ryan pushed Rigatoni over the level cap, but remember, this isn't a hardcore Nuzlocke. The level cap, suggestion more than a rule, so it's all good. I terrestrialized Rigatoni to get rid of his ghost weakness, that was my plan, and together, Melly's Bite and Rigatoni's Shadow Ball sweep through Rhyme's entire team, easily earning us our 6th gym badge. Also, look at Rhyme's little cheerleader, look at him go! Oh, also, Beho evolved into her best form. I'm seriously considering not evolving her. God, I love this Pokemon so much. I brought Soraya back to the team, boxing Brufus, because I still don't know how to feel about him being a dinosaur, and I feel guilty just having him in my party. I ran some raid dens, bringing my team up to par with the Titan Great Tusk, the next major battle on our list. Apparently, somehow one of the Paradox Pokemon of Area 0 managed to escape and got its paws or hooves. Feet? What do elephants have? It managed to get a hold of some Herba Mystica and gradually rose to power over all of its Donphan ancestors, becoming a Titan. Now that's what I call a dinosaur. Kind of. It's a mammoth, and it's from the past, and it's big and scary and friend-shaped. But of course, we did what must be done. I let Crackle out to have some fun, and just a couple of Razor Shells were able to take out this literal mammoth of a Pokemon. And for round 2, Meepo took it out with a couple of super effective Seed Bombs, letting us move on to the next gym. Also, quick update on the dog, he has been fed. Oh, and also Mabostiff is starting to feel better. We got a little lost on our way to the Alfornada gym, but on the way, we stumbled across a dinosaur that I happened to share a name with, Dino. Undoubtedly my favorite pseudo-legendary line. Immediately after catching and naming the dino Lilo, I found a Pupitar, which I couldn't catch because we already got encounter for this area. At this point, I don't think I'll ever have a Larvitar on my team, at least not for this run. Goodbye, Pupitar. I love your shiny. Lalo is also now on the team in place of Crackle because he evolves really late, so we gotta start training him up now. We made our way up to the Psychic type gym, but then got caught off guard by Nemona. But hey, that's fine. We've beaten her before. We should be all good. Since this fight was so unexpected, Rigatoni was out front, who is weak to her Lycanroc. It lowered our accuracy with Sand Attack, so I switched into Soraya, who could finish off the dog with a Bulldoze. She somehow predicts this though, and goes for Sand Attack again, lowering our accuracy. We hit through, but I forget to switch as her Sliggoo comes out, and foolishly went for a Dragon Claw, which of course missed, opening us up to a super effective hit from this Slug pseudo, which one-shot Soraya. Well, that sucked. I really liked Soraya, and I was looking forward to her being a Garchomp, but we do have Chris in the box, so I guess it's not that bad. Still hurts though. I switch into Melly, who takes out the Sliggoo, and Pama is up next, who I would normally switch into Soraya for, but you know, it's not exactly possible, is it? We take it down to half health, but it paralyzes us, so we go for another Dragon Claw, but the paralysis prevents us from moving, and somehow this stupid little fluff monster hits us 3 times with Arm Thrust and kills Melly. I'm not gonna lie, that death hurt a lot more than Soraya's. We managed to just barely scrape through the rest of the fight without any more losses. Rigatoni Sr. Jr. revenge killed the Pawmot before taking out the Meowscarada once again, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't still in shock after that fight. It's not the end of the world since we have another Cyclizar and Gabite in the box, but still. Soraya was a huge help when it came to taking out electric types, and Melly was one of our first Pokemon that helped us through so much, especially one of the scariest early battles, taking out that Bombardier, and living in some of the most clutch moments I've ever seen. This team truly won't be the same without her. I very dejectedly brought Chris and Crackle to the team and very angrily took on the next gym test. I guess practicing our emotions is good for me right now because, you know, I just lost 2 Pokemon to a fight I forgot about and thus didn't have time to plan or prepare. Still in a haze, I take on Tulip, the Alfornada gym leader, and I'm feeling pretty confident because her Psychic-type Pokemon are weak to my Rigatoni's Shadow Ball, so I Terrasilize right off the bat and take out her whole team with little to no issue. I think I need to cool down though and take a break from all this fighting. If I had a sponsor, this would be the part where I do it, but I don't, so I guess I'll just ask you to subscribe because I would love to do this full time. And if you've made it this far into the video, you probably like the video? At least, I hope you do, otherwise, what are you doing? Anyways, thank you so much for your support, and now I'm gonna go beat up a femboy for fun. Grusha is the 8th and final gym leader we have to take on, and he specializes in ice types. And yeah, the majority of my team is weak to ice, but we have a Rigatoni. We aced the gym test, I'm not even sure if it's possible to fail this, and I lead with Rigatoni Sr. Jr., who just sets her whole team on fire and then leaves. That's literally what happened. There's no point in giving you a play-by-play or running through the whole battle. I didn't switch out once, and we're now eligible to take on the Elite Four. But I wanted to wrap up the other 2 storylines first. So I head up to North Province Area 3, probably my favorite place on the map, to take on the second to last Team Star base. This base actually scares me a lot. Not only is Fairy type one of, if not the strongest type in the game, the majority of my team are Dragon types, which is weak to dairy. Fairy, they're not lactose intolerant, at least not that I'm aware. Anyways, once again, I'm focusing on nothing other than type matchups, and I decided to teach Meepo and Crackle Poison Jab. But in order to craft those moves, I'm gonna need some Shroodalink, which I already have, Seviper Fangs, and Marini Spikes. So I set out to collect my materials like the little hunter-gatherer that I am. I craft and teach the TMs to my Mon, and after grinding out even more Terra Raid dens and evolving Lalo along the way, I'm finally feeling, well, not confident, but I'm feeling just okay about taking on this Team Star Fairy base. And, well, there's no going back now, because we're here. Ortega sends out their Azumarill first, and I go for a Stab Seed Bomb, which takes it out in one shot. His Wigglytuff is up next, which I hate, and I go for the Poison Jab, which does really good damage. It tries to hit me with Play Rough, and Meepo, like the queen that she is, dodges the attack like it's nothing, and we take it down the next turn. His Darkspawn comes out and attempts to Play Rough as well, but Meepo is just too good, and not only does she take the dog down to half health, but she gets the poison off as well. The Darkspawn does hit its next Play Rough, but you know Meepo, she takes it like a champ. The car is up next, however, and it gets her down into the red, so I switch into my other poison-wielding Mon, Crackle. Crackle gets confused and ends up hitting himself twice in a row because he'll never be Pablo. I mean, yeah, he hits himself twice in a row and then the Starmobile kills him, which was unfortunate. I bring Rufus out, but I seem to have a slight attachment to Meepo because I do appear to be holding her Pokeball in my hand the whole time. I use Rufus as a meat shield, or a rock shield, while I heal up Meepo and then send her back out. And despite being confused, she hits through it twice and ends up taking out the Starmobile. But if you thought the fairy base was bad, oh boy, I may have bitten off more than I could chew for this next one. So the fighting type Starbase is a bit scary. So fighting types are weak to fairy, flying, and psychic type moves, and of those 3 types, we only have 2 flying types, Mango, whose speed stat is just abysmal, and Apollo, who is wildly underleveled. After just a while of grinding, I got Apollo up to level 58, which is 2 levels over Aries Ace, but I'm basically relying on him for the whole battle, so I don't mind. I go to challenge Aerie, and oh god, she's hot. Wow, okay. Well, her Toxicroak is up first, which can easily take out Apollo, so I lead with Chris, who, by the way, has now evolved into a Garchomp, and she kills it with Dig. Aerie follows with Annihilate, so I switch into Rigatoni Sr. Jr., who I think might have an easier time handling it than Apollo. Oh yeah, he's fine. And there goes the Ghost Monkey, bye-bye. Apollo comes out to take care of the Passimian, which doesn't go over great. He's at a third of his health now. I sit here for a while, pondering what to do, and finally I decide to go for another fly, hoping we somehow outspeed, but no, not the case, and Apollo goes down. That death did hurt, but I also kind of saw it coming. Also, don't ask why, he was holding a Dragon Fang, he clearly should have been holding a Quick Claw, I don't know. Chris finishes off the Passimian, and I send out Rigatoni to melt the Steel-type Lucario, and now it's just me and this amalgamation of Pokemon and spray paint. It eventually goes down to a few Torch songs, as every time I use the move, my special attack raises, and I end up winning the fight, but man, I wasn't feeling good about Apollo. I was kind of mentally prepared for him to not make it to the end of the run, but I love Flapple as a Pokemon a lot, and I was kind of hoping I'd get to use him more. But oh well, It was nice while it lasted. Rest in pixels, friend. Also, rest in pixels to Crackle. After defeating Aerie, Cassiopeia, the person who sent us on the Starfall mission to begin with, reveals themselves to be the leader of Team Star and requests a fight to finish off Team Star once and for all. And I oblige, but not until I take out the final Titan. The Titan Tatsugiri and also Dondozo. I'm not really sure which one is the real Titan. That part confused me a little. And then I don't know how, but I somehow lost the footage of me catching this Fracture I named Sei. I love the Axu line, and I caught and evolved her in North Province Area 1. I also guess didn't bother recording me grinding up the team, but everyone's level 57 now, so we're within the level cap and ready to take on the final Titan. We encounter the world's largest Tatsugiri, who immediately gets eaten up by this even bigger Dondozo, which Meepo takes out with a few seed bombs. We follow the Dondozo all the way to the second fight location, where Meepo takes it out once again, only for the Tatsugiri that it ate to come out looking for a fight of its own. I switch into Lalo because I want him to get some more experience, and he actually tanks an Icy Wind really well. I Terrastalize into a Dark type, removing our Ice type weakness, but then it goes for a Muddy Water, which takes us down to 11 HP, and then it avoids our attack, and I was gonna switch into Beho, but I just used a potion instead because I really wanted Lalo to get a kill in. The Tatsugiri takes out Arven's Greedent, so it's just up to us, mainly Lalo, and like the absolute legend that he is, lands the Dragon Rush and obliterates the Titan in just one hit. Also, the dog is all better now, and even though this is like the billionth time I've played through this game, I still cry every time. The dog stood up, and not in the way that the cat did. Like, he's okay now, look, he's ready to play fetch, oh my god. Also, we can now climb vertical walls, so that's cool. Professor Seda, who still has my number, it's no big deal, she calls us and asks us to meet her down in Area 0. Ignoring Arven's mommy issues, we oblige, and decide we're going to need some help getting down there in one piece, and I know exactly who to recruit. But first, I've got to become champion to impress her. I ace the interview, and I'm now allowed to challenge the Elite Four. Rika is up first, and despite me being very flustered, Meepo and Chris take turns steamrolling through her whole team. Up next is a literal child, her name is Poppy, and though she's got some pretty strong Pokemon, Rigatoni Sr. Jr. melts her entire team down to nothing more than a pile of scrap. Was that a little gruesome? Maybe, but we're moving on. We once again find ourselves battling Larry, whose team now consists of exclusively flying type Pokemon. I decide to bring Beho out, who, by the way, also evolved, and she ice beams his whole team to death, except Flamigo, because fighting types are scary to ice types, so Chris and Sei take out the monster bird. Now the scariest member of the Elite Four is up. Hassel, aka Brassius's boyfriend, aka Banana Hair. He specializes in dragon types, which normally isn't an issue if you have a fairy type on your team, but like I said, I have almost nothing but dragons, all of which are weak to other dragons. He sends out his Noivern, and I Terrastalize Chris, negating her dragon weakness, allowing her to take out the Noivern and his Dragalge with relative ease. He brings out a Flapple of his own, which hurt a little bit, and Beho takes it out with a quad effective Ice Beam. I accidentally forget to switch into Haxorus though, so I have her take it down to the red before switching into my own Haxorus. We outspeed despite being a whole level weaker, and finally, his Baxcalibur is out. I am terrified of this thing's Glaive Rush, and I am not confident I can outspeed it, so I switch into Rigatoni, and with the help of a few cheeky potions, I'm able to just scrape through with no deaths and take out Hassel's final member. I guess you could say that was a bit of a hassle. I'm sorry. It's now time to take on the champion so that I can take that title for myself. Luckily, my team is auto-healed after the battle, so I don't have to waste any more of my items, and I set foot into the elevator that takes me up to the top of the Pokemon League. I lead with Rigatoni Sr. Jr., who is able to take out her Espathro with just a few Shadow Balls. Despite leaving us on 46 HP, I decide to keep him in for Avalugg, confident that we can outspeed an Oko, and I was right. That's exactly what we did. Her King Gambit and Go-Go both go down to a single Torch Song, and for her Ace Glamora, I accidentally keep Rigatoni in. But that's okay, it's fine. I switch into Chris, and Gita Terrastalizes into pure Rock type, making us deal super effective damage. We Terrastalize into ground, allowing us to tank a Dazzling Gleam, and we barely don't kill on the first hit. I heal up Chris, eat up 2 Earth Powers like I'm a gosh dang Earthworm, and we take down the Glamora once and for all, finally earning the title of champion of the Paldea region. But our journey is far from over. Before making any preparations for Area 0, Arven wants us to prove his worth to him, even though we basically carried him through every single Titan quest, so we obliterate his team, including the dog we just worked tirelessly to heal. I race back to Mesagoza to challenge Nimona before the sun sets, and because we're the main characters, everyone is super invested in our battle. She leads with Lycanroc, and I lead with Meepo, who seed bombs the rock dog into the ground. Her Goodra is out next, and I switch into Beho, who barely lives on 3 HP. Why does this keep happening? One Glaive Rush, however, is enough to send it running, and I bring out Chris to obliterate her Pawmot. For some reason, though, this stupid rat knows Ice Punch, and while it barely doesn't kill us, it freezes Chris in her tracks, forcing me to switch in to Rigatoni. It foolishly goes for close combat, which we are immune to since we're part ghost, and we take out the Pika clone with a few Torch Songs. I keep Senior Jr. in for her Earthworm, as fire is good against steel, and I bring out Meepo for her Dunsparce. I go for Low Kick, taking it down to over half health, and then a Brick Break barely doesn't kill, and before I know it, my beloved Meepo is taken from me by a freaking Dunsparce. I forgot it knew Hyper Drill, and I lost, admittedly, my favorite teammate. Say comes out and strikes down the chunky worm, and Rigatoni bests his own rival, but I was not okay. So far this run, Nemona has been one of the most devastating fights because I'm just never ready. I never have time to prepare, and because of my failure to prepare, I lost Meepo. She was the best dinosaur, and she made me fall in love with Breloom more than I already had before. It pains me so much to put her in the graveyard, and I hope that one day she can find her way back to me, but until that day comes, goodbye Meepo. Rest in pixels. I bring Aishla to the team because that fighting type will come in handy later, but rest assured, Aishla will never be Meepo, at least not in my heart. I walk up to the school looking for Cassiopeia, the final person I want to bring with me to Area Zero, and I am met instead with Clive, who was our friend, I guess. I didn't really talk about him though, because he's not actually Clive, he's Director Clavel. Except he's not actually Director Clavel, he's Cassiopeia, so we beat him up and then actually he's not Cassiopeia, he just lied. He's actually just Director Clavel, and was once again testing me to see if I'm capable of taking on Cassiopeia, and obviously I am, so I do. And I make my way up to the Naranja schoolyard where we meet the actual Cassiopeia, Penny! That's right, the person Cassiopeia sent to give us supplies as a reward after every Team Starbase was actually Cassiopeia all along. She's got a team of evolutions, and actually, okay, before I tell you about the battle, I just realized who Penny reminds me of. She reminds me of Lotte from Little Witch Academia. And then, Nemona is Akko, and Arvin kind of works as Susie? I don't know, they're both edgy and kind of weird. Anyways, she leads with her Umbreon, which Rigatoni takes out with a couple of Torch Songs. All those Torch Songs do increase our special attack a bunch, but then she sends out Vaporeon, and I get scared, so I bring out Chris. Chris takes out the Vaporeon, and I'm not gonna say anything about the thing we're all thinking of, and I bring Rigatoni back in for her Leafeon. Once again, we stack up those Torch Songs, and Rigatoni Senior Jr. has no problem ripping through the rest of her team, even her super scary Sylveon. Alliteration. Also, something about absolutely destroying all these evolutions brought out the spirit in my Zweilous, and my sweet little Lalo evolved into Hydreigon. I love this pseudo-legendary so much, oh my god. Team Star breaks up, but also reunites, and also kind of meets each other for the first time. I don't know. Then Penny admits to being just a straight-up criminal, so needless to say, she's my favorite character in this game. She's so unhinged and so calm and placid about it. What an icon. And with all three storylines of the game wrapped up, the fourth and final storyline opens up, The Way Home. We meet up with the gang, and while we watch this beautiful cutscene, I just want to say how much I enjoyed this game. It's kind of sad what I'm about to say, but this game made me feel like I actually had friends. I get lost and consumed in media and characters pretty easily, and my first time playing through this game, this cutscene made me tear up a little bit. The end did as well, and yeah, I didn't really make a playthrough video, so I never got a chance to talk about how I felt, so I'm saying it now. I love this game. The story is amazing, and so are the characters. Anyways, we fight our way down to Area Zero, my friends all trying to gatekeep me along the way. I get it, guys, I get it. I'm famous. You got here first. I get it. And Professor Seda frequently checks in on us, instructing us on where to go next. Over time, she gradually begins to sound more and more robotic, like a machine that's malfunctioning. We get down to the Zero Lab gate and open it, releasing a horde of Paradox Pokemon, which I totally abandoned my friends for to try and find the MILF. I mean, Professor. I meet up with her, and oh my god, yep, I was right. She's a robot. I'd still smash. Turns out the actual professor died while trying to defend our Koraidon from a much more aggressive one. And AI Sada has been on a mission to destroy the time portal she built because, oh yeah, she built a time portal that sends Pokemon from the past to the present. Okay, yeah, I'm not as mad about the lack of fossil Pokemon in this region. I like walking amongst the dinosaur Pokemon. You know, dinosaurs are kind of my thing. But the issue is that these Paradox Pokemon are disrupting the natural flow of things. And AI Sada wishes to shut the portal down for the good of all the current Pokemon species. I agree to help her do it, admittedly a bit reluctantly. I like dinosaurs. And we head down into the most beautiful room. My neurodivergent crow brain is entranced by this room. There are so many sparkly crystals. I took a break to just pause and appreciate it all, because look at how sparkly, oh my god, I love it. But not everything is all hunky-dory. There is one problem when it comes to shutting down this time machine. If you try to stop the machine, I will most likely attack you. The artificial being that I am, my own desires will be overridden by the system's programming. I will become nothing more than a machine built to battle, bound to defeat anyone my system identifies as a threat to the original Seda's plans. In battle, I am ruthless, but I've seen the way you and your Pokemon work together, and I'm confident in your abilities. When you are ready, place the Scarlet Book in the machine.
ID confirmed. Professor Seda. Access granted. Initiating emergency shutdown. Please wait. Please wait. Access denied. Shutdown command overridden. Reinitializing.
It's up to you now, Dino.
AI Sada switching to sleep mode. Activating offensive protocols.
Please, defeat me. At last. At last, my dream is within reach. And you're not getting in the way. She sends out her Slitherwing, and I send out Rigatoni, who takes it out with a couple torch songs. But that's just the beginning of the beast this machine has in store. Root Bonnet comes out and also goes down to a super effective torch song, my special attack continuing to rise. I bring out Beho for Sandy Shocks, and while Power Gem does decent damage, one Icicle Crash is enough to send this Cretaceous Magneton back to the past, as I bring out Aishla to handle Screamtail. I Terrastalize to get rid of my fighting type, and Ice Punch gets me down quite a bit, but ultimately, not enough to kill, and the Screamtail falls. Fluttermane goes down to a crunch from Lalo, and finally, Roaring Moon is up next. Her most powerful Pokemon that's an easy counter to most, if not all, of my team. I decide to bring out Chris as a sacrifice. We can no longer Terrastalize to get rid of her Dragon typing, so we just have to pray we outspeed or live a hit from this prehistoric monster. A single Dragon Claw takes us to a quarter of our health, and if we don't kill this thing, Chris dies for good. I go for the Dragon Claw, and Chris gets a crit and stops the Roaring Moon dead in its tracks. And like that, we defeated AI Sada. We beat the game. Well, thank you all so much for watching.
An obstacle is preventing the time machine from performing as intended. Activating Paradise Protection Protocol to remove the offending obstacle.
Was keeping the time machine running truly all the professor cared about?
Locking all Pokeballs except those registered to Sada's ID. Program initializing. Gathering Terrestrial Energy.
I'm sorry, children. This is too much for you. You must run.
AI Sada disabled. Paradise Protection Protocol initialized.
Okay, looks like this isn't over. We're challenged by Professor Sada, the Paradise Protection Protocol, and suddenly we're thrown into battle with no Pokemon against a very powerful, very aggressive Koraidon. We can't swap in our own Pokemon, Penny can't fix the Pokeballs, we're completely out of options. The run's over. It's done. Except Koraidon. The most important dinosaur of the run. I told you he was imperative to our success. I knew we'd need him at some point. I send out Koraidon, and she transforms into her battle form. We have no super effective moves, and this thing is way higher level than us, but we have no choice but to fight. And with a little friendship and a lot of plot armor, our Koraidon bests the imposter, and we take down the Paradise Protection Protocol once and for all, with AI Sada going to the future to ensure nothing like this can ever happen again. And I guess it's a happy ending. Penny is a criminal, Nimona doesn't understand social cues, Arvin's mommy issues are at an all-time high, and Spritzy won't be transferable in the DLC, but hey, we made it to the credits, right? Oh god, is that Ed Sheeran? And I'm out of recording space, great. And there you have it. I beat a dinosaur-only Nuzlocke of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video. I really want to do this full time, and I love you all so much. And also, goodbye!